Documentary airing on Netflix right now, getting a lot of buzz, is taking a deeper look at our obsession with our devices and social media and why we're so hooked. It's called The Social Dilemma and focuses on how content is being tailored to hold your attention longer and longer, and how this is ultimately impacting our mental well-being overall. So Dr. Lynda Ulrich is the author of Happiness is an Option, Thriving and Surviving in the Era of the Internet, and she's joining us to talk about this right now. I saw The Social Dilemma and I felt like my brain exploded. It's incredible to hear the designers of these apps, from something as simple as the Google search to Pinterest or Facebook, and how they're just out to get our time and really sell us as the product. So what can be done about the manipulation that we're all experiencing, whether we realize it or not?
So, hi, Olivia. I love the documentary. I love the way you just described it, because it is such an empowering piece of the puzzle. You know, what I tell people is that the internet, though it seems so ubiquitous in our lives, is really, really young. It's a human construct that is ready to be reimagined in a more sustainable way. And here's the thing: if we know what the documentary teaches us, and I think these are really, really earnest, not more doom and gloom that you're going to want to hide under your bed, so watch it. But if we use what we learned there, and then we have a plan to reimagine the relationship of the internet in our lives, then we can go forward and thrive and survive. So that's what I talk to people about. There's four simple shifts that I see we can do, and the internet would seemingly change overnight.
Okay, so what can we be changing, or what can we do to get more control over our own habits? Because one of the things that I took away most was that line about there are only two industries that describe their client or their consumer as a user, and that's social media and tech and drug dealers. So clearly there's an unhealthy sort of relationship going on. How do we get control over it?
Okay, so what they're doing, and they explain this in the movie, is they're tapping into our most primitive impulses. They are literally purposefully triggering them, and that catches us and holds us on the internet. But that sword cuts both ways. If we can realize that that's the game being played with our emotions, we can do something so powerful. And that's pause. The first thing I teach people is to not use the internet just mindlessly with their lizard brain, because our brain is going to dominate what we click on by fear and danger and disorder. So if we just pause for just a millisecond, we can shift up to the more savvy part of our brain, and we can decide what to give our attention to. So that's the first step, is for all of us to stop just randomly clicking and scrolling and clicking. Pause and just ask yourself, do we need more of this? And I would bet you 80% of the time, most of us would say actually no. And if we skip it, we can ignore things, all this chaos building, into obscurity.
Dr. Ulrich, I could talk to you all day. I think it's the most fascinating subject, and I like the idea, the fact that there's a positive around the corner. If we are aware of what's going on, we can change some of these habits. So I hope you'll join us again on Good Morning Arizona, because there's a lot to dig into. But again, the book is Happiness is an Option, Thriving and Surviving in the Era of the Internet. Thanks so much.